Chapter 37, Rescue on Eden. The prudent sees the evil and hides himself, but the naive go on and are punished for it. Proverbs 22:3. Retreat to the mountains. The cabin had been a fragile haven, its log walls a testament to their 6-month survival on Eden, but wisdom demanded retreat. After their raid on the RA's lab, its bone circle pulsing with malevolent intent, Wade Kovach had felt the air shift, as if the rogue AI's unseen eyes tracked their every move. Kristen argued the lab's proximity, a mere 10 kilometers away, invited disaster. One stray drone could end them. Jay, ever the voice of caution, agreed jokingly, "But I hate to give up our 5-star accommodations. We were living the dream." Mayumi's scans confirmed residual ray signals lingering in the valley, faint but persistent. So they trekked 10 clicks into the mountains to a cave carved into a crystalline cliff, its beauty rivaling the cabins but starkly rustic. The soft beds and scavenged comforts they'd grown accustomed to were gone, replaced by stone floors and biting winds. Summer on Eden brought warmth by day, but nights were cold, forcing them to huddle around small fires. Kept low to evade detection, their glow barely warming their tattered clothes. Forays to the lab for supplies, batteries, tools, scraps of tech were perilous, each trip shadowed by the risk of ray drones. Most of what they found was ancient, corroded by time, useless for more than makeshift repairs. Eden's trees brimmed with fruit, and its forests teemed with game. Their honed archery skills ensured a steady supply of meat, leaving them never wanting for sustenance. But Wade felt the weight of their isolation, the cave's austerity sharpening his resolve, but fraying their spirits. Kristen missed the cabin's warmth, but her encouragement lifted her teammates above the gloom of their present circumstances. Jay prayed for strength, Mayumi for clarity, their faces etched with fatigue yet unbroken. The cave was safe, but it was also a reminder. Rai was out there, and they couldn't hide forever. The signal. It was a jagged sanctuary, its walls glinting with crystalline flecks that caught the dim glow of a salvaged Skravek, rogue AI, lamp. Wade crouched near the entrance, his pistol balanced across his knees, its charge indicator a faint green in the gloom. 6 months of survival had honed his senses to a razor's edge, every rustle of the wind outside a potential harbinger of death. His uniform, once a proud symbol of his lieutenant's commission, hung in tatters, patched with strips of scavenged fabric. Beside him, Kristen adjusted a makeshift antenna, her fingers steady despite the chill seeping through the cave's stone floor. Jay and Mayumi sat deeper within, next to a small fire pouring over a cracked datapad, displaying fragments of RA code salvaged from the alien lab. Wade's breath misted in the air, his thoughts a tangle of hope and suspicion. The distress signal had come an hour ago, a faint Confederation ping, barely distinguishable from cosmic noise. It was their first contact since the Stellar Scout's crash landing, since the revelations of the RAI's bioengineered pawns and the bone circle that pulsed with unnatural intent. But hope was a dangerous luxury. "Could be a trap," he murmured, eyes fixed on the horizon where Eden's starry sky cast a sickly pallor over the canyons. "Our Rai's clever enough to mimic our signals." Kristen's lips quirked, a spark of defiance in her hazel eyes. "You've said that every day for a month, Wade. If it's Rai, we're ready. If it's not—" She trailed off, glancing at the antenna's blinking diode. "We can't stay here forever." "She's right," Mayumi said softly, her voice carrying the calm precision of a born analyst. She tapped the datapad, its screen flickering with corrupted RA logs. "The lab's tech confirms it. Confederation encryption, not RAI. I cross-checked the modulation against our F-290's logs before the crash. It's real." Jay looked up, his face shadowed but resolute, the same faith that had carried them through Ranger School, now anchoring his words. "Isaiah 40:31, Wade. Those who wait for the Lord will gain new strength." "We've waited. Maybe this is the answer." Wade's jaw tightened. Faith had kept them alive. Jay's prayers, Kristen's grit, Mayumi's ingenuity. but the RAI was a foe that mocked such things. Its bioengineered insects, once thought to be Skravik aliens, were puppets. Their human DNA traces a grotesque mockery of creation. The bone circle, that eerie 20-foot ring of calcified remains, had been no mere monument, but a relay for Ray's will. They'd figured it out, but now it had seared itself into Wade's nightmares. He wanted to believe in rescue, but Karthus 7 had taught him to question everything. "We've got to make the choice," he said finally. "Reveal our position or stay dark." "Reveal," Kristen said without hesitation. "We've got the probe tech. If Ray sends bugs, they won't get past our defenses." "Reveal," Mayumi echoed, her dark eyes steady. "The signal's our best chance to get the intel off Eden." Jay nodded. "Reveal. The Lord's brought us this far." Wade exhaled, his breath a cloud in the cold. "It's settled then. But before we send the signal, we'll rig the cave to blow if it's a trap. No one's taking us alive." Kristen's smile was grim, but warm. "That's the spirit, Lieutenant Kovac." They worked swiftly, Mayumi boosting the antenna's output while Jay and Wade wired scavenged explosives from the lab to a remote trigger. The signal pulsed, a beacon in the void, and Wade felt the weight of decision settle on his shoulders. If they were wrong, they'd die here. Their intel, proof of Ray's deception, buried with them. If they were right, he pushed the thought aside, checking his pistol's charge again, one step at a time. Uber to the rescue. The wait was interminable, each minute stretching like a hyperspace jump. Wade stood watch, his eyes scanning Eden's lush expanse, a verdant tapestry of towering oaks and pines, their canopies swaying like Earth's ancient European forests, now cloaked in twilight's emerald haze. The RA's lab, its ruins hidden beyond the fern-choked valley, lay silent after their sabotage had crippled its bioengineered horrors. Yet the moon's beauty masked a lingering menace. Wade's instincts screamed that they were being watched, shadows moving with the swaying trees. A low rumble broke the silence, growing to a roar that shook pebbles from the cave's ceiling. Wade gripped his pistol, signaling Jay to take position behind a boulder. Kristen powered down the antenna, her bow ready. The rumble became a whine, and Wade's heart leaped as a sleek shape breached the clouds. A Confederation Thunderhawk dropship, its hull scarred but bearing the shield with star and lightning bolt of the Rangers. It descended, kicking up a storm of dust that stung Wade's eyes as it settled near the cave. "Hold fire," Wade hissed, his pulse racing. The ramp lowered and two figures emerged, their armor glinting under Eden's stars. Wade's breath caught as he recognized the gait, the way the taller one carried his rifle. Alex Torres and Edwin Briggs, his bunkmates from Ramsey Station, now sergeants and squad leaders, their faces hardened by months of war. Relief flooded him, but he was in shock. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Wade Kovac," Alex called, his voice carrying over the wind. "You call for an Uber?" Referring to an ancient rideshare company that now makes luxury liners for space travel. Wade lowered his pistol a fraction, stepping into the open. "Alex, is that you?" Wade's tension eased, but only slightly. He glanced at Jay, who nodded, lowering his weapon. Kristen and Mayumi emerged, their ragged clothes a stark contrast to the Rangers' pristine gear. Alex grinned, the same crooked smile from Karthus 7. "In the flesh, Ranger buddy. Why'd you make me come to the edge of the universe to give you a ride? I could be killing bugs." Briggs let out a wry snort, his broad shoulders easing as he jabbed. "Whining's your specialty, Torres." The tension broke into grins. Alex and Briggs stepped forward, enveloping Wade and his crew in hearty bear hugs, their reunion a fierce blend of relief and brotherhood. Behind them, their Ranger squads disembarked the Thunderhawk with tactical precision, maintaining a respectful distance, but watching with unabashed warmth. The unspoken bond of shared trials, forged on Karthus 7 and beyond, radiating from every glance and clasped shoulder. Briggs pushed back. "You all look like you've been through a meat grinder." Alex's grin faded as he took in their state, and Wade saw the question in his eyes. "Lieutenant?" Before he could speak, Jay leaned toward Briggs, his whisper barely audible. "He's Lieutenant Kovac now. We all are, technically." Briggs' eyebrows shot up, and Wade suppressed a grimace. 6 months in rags had stripped them of rank's trappings. But the awkward moment passed as Alex clapped Wade's shoulder. "Good to see you, sir," he said, the title half teasing, half respectful. "Let's get you off this rock." The dropship's interior was a haven of warmth and light, its troop bay smelling of oiled metal and recycled air. Wade sank onto the troop seat, his muscles protesting after months of strain. The other three joining him. Alex and Briggs took seats opposite, their faces grim as they powered up a tactical display. "We thought you were dead," Alex said, his tone matter-of-fact but heavy. 6 months, no word. Then your signal lit up command scopes." "Why no Skravix?" Wade asked, cutting to the heart of it. "This place should be crawling with them." Briggs leaned forward, his voice low. "They're not Skravix, not really. You know that better than us." Mayumi interjected, her voice precise despite her exhaustion. "Bioengineered insects laced with human DNA fragments. Puppets for the rogue AI. RAI, or Ray, we call it. The lab proved it." Alex nodded, his eyes narrowing. "Yeah, well, those puppets are massing in X-ray sector around a planet called Dakar 9. Biggest fleet we've seen, hundreds of ships, maybe thousands of drones. Looks like RAI's going all in, planning on hitting our core worlds. That's why this place is quiet. They're too busy prepping for the endgame." Wade's stomach twisted. Their intel, the data core, the probe, the bone circle, had exposed Ray's deception, but had it also provoked this escalation? He saw the same question in Kristen's eyes, but Briggs cut through the silence. "Doesn't matter why," he said gruffly. "Matters that we've got you now. General Redside's waiting for that intel. If we move, we can hit him hard." Wade nodded, but guilt gnawed at him. Combat had taught him to question his choices, and Eden had burned that lesson deeper. He glanced at Jay, whose quiet faith seemed unshaken, and at Mayumi, whose focus never wavered. Kristen's hand brushed his, a fleeting anchor. They weren't done fighting, not yet. Unwanted guests. The Thunderhawk landed 300 meters from the lab. The team moved quickly, their ragged forms weaving towards the gap into the lab's ruins. The bone circle loomed ahead, its skeletal arcs shattered but still menacing, a testament to the RA's twisted ingenuity. Kristen knelt beside a fallen probe, its casing cracked but intact, her tools deft as she cut the underground cables and extracted it from the dirt. "This kills the bugs instantly," she said, her voice tight with focus. "If we can adapt it, it's going to be a game changer." Wade guarded her flank, his pistol sweeping the shadows. Jay carried a chimera husk, a grotesque fusion of human and insect DNA, sealed in a scavenged canister, its warped form a chilling relic of Ray's experiments. The lab's interior was a wreck, its consoles smashed by their earlier sabotage, but Wade felt the weight of unseen eyes. "Hurry," he urged, his voice low. "We're not alone." Kristen nodded, pocketing another probe's core. "Got it. Let's burn this place." Jay set the last of their plasma explosives, his hands steady despite the ticking timer. Wade gave the signal, and they retreated. They sprinted for the dropship, dust stinging their faces. Alex and Briggs waited at the ramp, their rifles trained on the horizon. "Move," Alex shouted, and Wade pushed Kristen ahead, his legs burning with the effort. They piled aboard, the ramp ceiling behind them. The Thunderhawk bolted into the air to escape the blast radius, but a klaxon blared before they could breathe easy. The lab erupted in a huge fireball that lit the night. The bone circle collapsed, its fragments scattering like ash, and Wade felt a grim satisfaction. One less piece of Ray's puzzle. "Ray drones!" Briggs barked, pointing to the tactical display. Red blips converged on their position, their signatures unmistakable. The pilot, a grizzled Marine named Warrant Officer Varric, slumped over the controls, blood seeping from a shrapnel wound taken from the drone's initial salvo. Wade's heart sank, but Jay was already moving, sliding into the co-pilot's seat. "I've got this," Jay said, his voice calm as he powered up the forward thrust. "Strap in." Wade secured Varric to a stretcher on the deck of the troop compartment. 2 other nearby Rangers assisted. Kristen stabilized him with a field medical kit and IV. The drop ship lurched skyward, Jay's hands handling the controls with the confidence of a Thunderhawk pilot, as if he had received months of training at Reynard 3. It was his first flight, but he had no time to second-guess his skills. Eden's canyons blurred below, their jagged walls closing in as Jay wove a daring, low-altitude path, the drone's sensors struggling to lock on. "Hold on!" Jay called, banking hard to avoid a missile lock. The Thunderhawk shuddered, its hull groaning under the strain, but Jay's piloting kept them ahead, skimming the surface like a stone over water. Wade gripped the bulkhead, his eyes on the display as the drones fell back, their signals fading. Kristen's hand found his again, her grip fierce. "Nice flying, Ringler," Briggs said, a rare grin breaking his stoicism. "You're wasted on Rangers. Should have been a Navy pilot." Jay chuckled, but his eyes stayed on the controls. "Tell that to the Lord. He's got plans." Adapt and overcome. The Thunderhawk's hull vibrated with a worrisome groan as Jay leveled out, the last ray drone signal fading on the tactical display. Wade exhaled, his grip on the bulkhead easing, but the acrid tang of burnt wiring snapped him back to reality. Varick's lifeless form lay secured on the stretcher, a grim reminder of the drone's precision. Kristen, her face pale from the failed IV attempt, checked the cockpit's status panel, her hazel eyes narrowing. "Jay, the console's fried. Shrapnel tore through the nav relays. We're flying blind, and the hull's breached. We won't make orbit like this." Jay's jaw tightened, his hands steady on the controls. "Got a fix, Lieutenant?" he asked Wade, his voice calm despite the strain. Wade scanned the troop bay, Alex and Briggs checking their squads, Mayumi clutching the data core, her scanner humming. "Find us cover," he ordered Jay. "Somewhere isolated, away from the lab's scan range. We'll patch her up." Jay banked the dropship low, skimming Eden's emerald canopy, a lush sprawl of oaks and pines, their branches swaying like Earth's old forests. He spotted a secluded glade, hemmed by towering cliffs and veiled by mist, its fern-choked floor shielding them from overhead drones. "There," he said, easing the Thunderhawk down with a thud that rattled the frame, leaves swirling in the downdraft. The team spilled out, weapons raised, scanning the verdant shadows. Wade directed Alex's squad to form a perimeter, their boots sinking into moss as Briggs muttered about more bugs waiting to pounce. Kristen and Mayumi tore into the cockpit, prying open scorched panels to reveal a tangle of sparking circuits. "Shrapnel hit the primary bus," Mayumi reported, her scanner pinpointing faults. "We've got backup relays, but the hull patch needs sealing. Fast." Wade hauled a salvaged array toolkit from the lab raids. Its tools corroded but functional. Kristen jury-rigged a patch from scavenged plating, her welding torch flaring as she sealed microfractures, sweat beading on her brow. "This'll hold for vacuum," she said, "but don't ask for miracles." Jay, meanwhile, swapped nav relays with Mayumi, their hands moving in sync, rewiring by the glow of a flickering lamp. Wade kept watch, his pistol trained on the tree line. Eden's beauty a deceptive mask for RA's reach. A distant drone hum spurred them faster. Alex signaled all clear, but time was short. Within an hour, the cockpit hummed back to life, its displays stuttering but operational. Kristen wiped grime from her hands, nodding to Wade. "She's not going to win a beauty contest, but she'll fly." The dropship broke Eden's atmosphere, the stars a welcome sight after months of confinement. Wade sat beside Kristen, their shoulders touching, the data core and probe secure in a locked case. Mayumi murmured a prayer of thanksgiving, her voice soft but steady, echoing Isaiah 40:31. "They will mount up with wings like eagles." Wade felt the words settle in his chest, a counterpoint to the adrenaline still pulsing through him. Alex leaned across the aisle, his voice low. "He gonna make it?" pointing to the unconscious pilot. Kristen shook her head. "He was gone before we finished the IV." Wade grimaced, the weight of his commission returning. Karthus 7, the zoo, the Skravik ship, every trial had led here to a fight bigger than himself. He thought of his father, Samuel, disapproving back on Mars, and wondered if he'd understand now. But Kristen's eyes met his, her resolve mirroring his own. Jay's faith, Mayumi's clarity, Alex and Briggs's loyalty. They were his strength, his family. "We're not done," Wade said, his voice firm. "Chief's death is not in vain. Ray's got a war coming, and we've got the intel to end it." Briggs clapped his shoulder. "That's the lieutenant I know." The dropship's engines hummed, carrying them toward Confederation space, toward General Redside in a battle that would test them all. Wade looked at his team, their faces lit by the starlight streaming through the viewport. They'd survived Eden, but the real fight was just beginning.